The theme of this day of events is how to build a party, and how to build a party that really respects and includes women and gives women in this state a chance to not only be at the table, but at the head of the table, carrying with them their democratic values and their life experiences. And you're right, I am running to live again at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
So wonderful. Joining us now, John Fund, Newsmax Analyst, National Review Foreign Affairs Columnist, and author of Obama's Enforcer, Eric Holder's Justice Department. John, great to see you again, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Bad news for Hillary and her quest to once again live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, because the latest CNN poll shows that she is severely underwater.
Well, if you're a legacy candidate, either Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton, this is bad news for you, this poll. But turning to Hillary first, now she's the prohibitive favorite for the nomination. If for no other reason than as the first woman candidate, she's going to appeal to the 58% of primary voters who are Democrats. So she's on easy street there. General election, 37% of independents think she's honest and trustworthy. 41% of independents view her favorably. Now, you can't win a presidential race with just Democrats. Can't win it with just Republicans. You need the independents. Her numbers, unless she turns them around, are just awful. And the fact that she leads the Republican candidates, well, she only one she has over 50% against is actually Jeb Bush.
Right.
Against the others, she falls below 50. She's basically the incumbent in this race.
Yeah.
As the incumbent in this race, if you're not above 50, you're in real trouble.
Yeah, she has 48 against Rand Paul to his 47, margin of error, 49-46 against Rubio, margin of error, 49-46 against Scott Walker. So you're absolutely right. She does well against Cruz and Bush together.
There's
also
a Texas deficit.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, but you know, these numbers have tanked not only over the course of since 2011 to 2012, but even since a few months ago when it comes to the...
Since then, we've had the emails.
Yeah.
We've had the prevarications. We've had the stonewalling. We've had Sidney Blumenthal. I mean, it's a parade of horribles that has tumbled out of the closet, of which she's had almost no answer, except I'm not turning over the server.
Yeah, and you know, what is she going to do to turn it around? Because I mean, I hope you're right. I think common sense would dictate that you're right.
Well, her theory will be this will fade. There's no smoking gun.
Right.
You know, the standard of proof has to be a smoking gun. It'll fade. People will turn their attention to the Republicans. They'll beat each other up. They'll savage each other. They'll come out of the convention divided. Maybe there's a weak Republican candidate. And I can appeal to history. I can appeal to the Democratic base. I'll have Joaquin Castro, the HUD secretary, on my ticket as a VP. Yeah. And, you know, we'll see what happens. After all, remember, Bill Clinton won 2 presidential races with less than 50% of the vote.
Right. So hopefully for her, a third-party candidate will get in, as was the case.
Oh, maybe someone can be convinced to run.
Yes, absolutely. And don't forget the Clinton machine, which will dig up all kinds of dirt on whoever the Republican nominee.
I'm shocked that you would think that could happen.
Do you think that, offhand, do you think the Clintons dug up the dirt on Sanders about the rape story that he wrote in the 70s? You think they put that out there, or Mother Jones found it on their own?
You know, it could be either way.
Yeah.
The point is, it actually helps her to have Bernie Sanders out there, because Martin O'Malley is a guy you can plausibly see as a Democratic presidential candidate.
Yes.
You cannot plausibly see Bernie Sanders.
Very true.
I mean, McGovern only happens once in 100 years, not twice. And he's 73 years old. He's older than her.
Right.
So as a foil, he's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, he may pull her a little to the left, but she can swat that away.
All right. You wrote a great piece at National Review. How did Denny Hastert, former Speaker of the House, get rich enough to pay millions to an accuser? And this whole Hastert thing really has me troubled that the media is focusing on him as opposed to what Bernie Sanders said and what Hillary has done. But nonetheless, let's talk about lobbying, right?
Well, first, before the lobbying, this is a guy who, when he entered Congress, was worth about $275,000 max. And he left Congress worth between $4 million and $17 million. And he had some very lucky land deals along the way, including one for something about land that was close to a new proposed highway called the Prairie Parkway in Illinois. and he managed to buy land there just at the right time that it was being discussed as a federal highway.
That is lucky, isn't it?
And suddenly, the earmarks, the hidden things that got slipped into bills for federal appropriations, suddenly there's a $207 million appropriation for the Prairie Parkway, which means it looks like it's going to be built. And suddenly he sells the land for 140% profit. Now, there's no smoking gun there, but it sounds like a lucky break. And then, of course, he leaves and becomes a $2 million a year lobbyist, which, of course, is the revolving door that people find so seedy and disreputable about Washington.
Which, by the way, on a good week, the Clintons could surpass that $2 million that
they could surpass that in a speech.
Right.
They could surpass that in a speech.
What do you think? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen legally to Hastert here, but it's kind of strange that they're going after him when, in fact, it looks like, and his defense could be, that he's being blackmailed. What about the blackmailer?
Well, a normal case involving the structuring of financial withdrawals under over $10,000 is almost always attached to an underlying crime. To go after somebody because they used their own money and drew it down in $10,000 increments is just preposterous for most prosecutors. One guy who ran the asset forfeiture department program of the Justice Department said, you know, they caught him in a financial speed trap. And to charge him with this, either there are more facts coming out that we don't know about, and that's possible, or this looks like somewhat selective prosecution.
Yeah, well, we will wait and see. Quickly, Rand Paul, of course, the Senate today voted to adopt the
House bill.
The House bill. So, in a sense, Rand Paul succeeded, but he also failed because there was no need to filibuster. It was only the House bill that was up in the Senate.
No. Anyway. McConnell was very
he pushed amendments today that didn't get passed.
Right. Well, but McConnell wanted the Senate bill.
Yeah.
Look, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with Rand Paul on this issue, he did what senators rarely do. He took the heat, he stood up, and he said, it may be 99 to 1, but I'm going to stop this thing. And you know what? That shows a certain amount of leadership.
All right, John Fund,
Thanks.
always great to talk to you. We're coming back with Heather McDonald of the Manhattan Institute. Don't go away.